Okay, my name is John. I'm going to tell you how I've learned the best way to remove this Armstrong flooring. This flooring is glued on to the plywood underneath, and it was really problematic trying a number of ways. So what I found to work the best is, first I would score, using a scoring knife, a row of 3 of these blocks. Just do a scoring through the surface. And then using this Dremel tool, you can use another brand, and the rigid scraper blade. I've tried other blades like the flexible, but the best luck was with the rigid scraper blade to remove it, first going around the edges, and then from one end to the other till I remove the whole strip that is 3 blocks by 1 width. And then I do the strip next to it, so I have 2 strips 3 blocks long each removed, followed by using the heat gun to get the remaining glue material. One area that's particularly difficult to get up, it has been the seams, where the seams of the linoleum was, the Armstrong flooring, because they use a much stronger glue. If you have another kind of flooring that is not adhered down so tough, good luck to you, great, I'm happy for you. But this was a very problematic flooring to remove, and this, I'm telling you, has worked out the best for me. So let me go ahead and just get started and demonstrate a little bit. Again, just score along the seam roughly. That's all you need, a scoring there, and then also here to get the second strip. Take the Dremel tool with the rigid scraper blade. Here we go. Cut along the edges to get started. The scoring helps to tear at the score. A lot of the linoleum comes up where the glue isn't so bad. And it's pretty quick to do this part here. Okay, and then the second one. Make sure that blade is pretty much flush with the floor. When you start out, the blade may be kind of sharp. Be careful not to dig into the plywood. But after a little bit, it dulls back just enough so it's not really a problem. After you've done enough areas. Almost there. Have to cut into that a little bit. Okay, I just fold this up, crush it down, throw it into the trash can, and you're left with, particularly the toughest glue, like I mentioned, is where the seams of the linoleum was, and the rest of the glue areas, some of that comes off, but there's a lot of glue on here that comes up relatively simply with the heat gun. Mine is a Milwaukee heat gun. It's got 2 settings, high heat and very high heat. Be aware that it's going to be very hot, so be careful. And the seam area is particularly difficult. So when you start, I usually use a heat. It's going to take a moment to heat up, and you'll be able to sense how long to hold it until it starts to soften. And once you get started, you can see this is kind of tough here. Once you get started, then the heat that's throwing from my left to the right, he preheats the area to the right a little bit so that it goes a little bit quicker. I have it on maximum heat, and you can tell how fast you can push the blade by virtue of how soft it gets. Okay, so this again is just the hard part. It's not all like this, it's just at the seams that it's difficult like that. Be aware, I know it's grueling and the entire kitchen is tough, but the scraper blade alone, I had a hard time getting all the glue up, and that does do more damage to the plywood. And so the combination is, first remove it very quickly. It's about 1 minute with the the Dremel tool and maybe 15 or 20 minutes to rest. Now that's hard. I'll go back to it. I'm not going to waste your time right now showing you, but you can go much quicker in the next areas. I won't waste the time on the video to show you how long it takes this, but that does work as well. Like I mentioned, here's a little piece of this seam glue. It does come up, but the rest of it is relatively quick. And I do roughly a 5 or 6 inch strip at a time because that seems to optimize how much heat that's thrown to the material to the right is still present to help soften, soften the glue and take the rest of this backing of the linoleum away as you go. It's tough. It's a big job. There's no two ways around it, but like I mentioned, using the heat gun on top of the linoleum, not a good idea. You just can't control, and you don't know where the glue really is until you first remove it. Like you see, the glue is not super thick or uniform everywhere else, but it does move along. And the heat, that's paper, and holding the heat gun on there, and just go only as slow as you need to get it to come off. You wouldn't want to go any longer because you could literally start a fire. But it does work. Like I say, not a great way. You kind of let the heat stay just ahead of the scraper blade so you can feel that it's really pretty smooth down to the plywood underneath. And don't get anything else too hot. Be aware. And also when you're near the trim of, around the doors or something like that, do not direct this heat toward it. You'll probably be blistering that paint off as well, so be careful. I kind of direct it away from the trim. I go really light, easy if I'm close to a wall or the trim. But this area here I thought was a good place to demonstrate. Doing these 2 strips, that way I don't have to go too far left and right. And then go back to, the left and work to the right again. Back on this seam glue, that is the slower part. Luckily, the seam glue is only, as it implies, at the seams of the linoleum, not seams of the plywood particularly. So, do not use chemicals, and also it's best if you have the window open, because particularly heating this glue with the heat gun, it starts burning off some of the material, creating a little bit of smoke, burning some of the finer material, and it stinks. I don't think it's so bad that I need to wear a gas mask, but if you have windows open, that really does help. So it depends on the time of year to enable you to do that. So I think you get the idea, and then I will sweep this up, move forward, and at my age I use this little stool to help protect my knees and my back. All right, well, good luck.